Hello and welcome to the AFL High Performance Podcast. My name is Jack McLean and today is a very special episode. It's our 2024 wrap-up, our top 10 episodes ranked by you guys, the most listened episodes from our monthly updates. Now in 2024 we introduced strength and conditioning content where I would present on topics to help the future developing strength and conditioning coaches with their career. So I've split this top 10 down the middle. We've got 5 episodes specifically for footballers, Australian rules footballers looking to maximise their athlete development. And we've got 5 episodes that we've highlighted in this top 10 that are dedicated to strength and conditioning coaches looking to work in professional sport, whether that be AFL, NRL, whatever it might be. So unique year in that we started that new content. We started calling the content for this segment our monthly updates because every month, as you guys know if you listen to the show, I present for footballers as well as the strength and conditioning coaches. So rather than calling it the Get Better Plan, we've shifted to the monthly updates, but it's still designed to help you get better with the Australian rules footballer in mind as well as strength and conditioning coach. So thank you to everyone that's tuned in 2024. It's been a massive year. And I really appreciate you guys for your engagement, your questions, recommendations for topics. Keep them coming. I love learning off you guys about what problems you might be having with your footy and how we can help from a physical preparation point of view, or for S&Cs tuning in, sports scientists, how I can help from a career development point of view or from a technical point of view as well. So if you have some burning questions that you'd like me to present on in 2025, I'm actually putting together my schedule for the year. So please send them through anywhere on any social media platform. You can direct message me or email them at jack@propellicpro.com. That's it. Thank you so much again. And I look forward to hearing from you in 2025. Let's make it a good one. Thanks, guys. Set up your SSI, which is our social index. This will give you a bit of a benchmark on areas compared to people in your industry that you're ranking well compared to areas that you're not. So perhaps you might be ranking really well from a engagement point of view, or you could be ranking really well from educational content. So it'll just give you a bit of an audit onto your account and gives you a good guidance on where you currently sit. So I'm in the top 8% in my network compared to other strength and conditioning coaches. My social selling index is 53 out of 100. So there's obviously plenty of growth to go there. And then it will have people in your network have an average SSI of 34. So of my 53, it's slightly higher than the majority of people in the industry. So that can be a helpful tool to see where you need to spend more of your time to increase your profile. What are the best conditioning prescriptions in season to maximize fitness and fatigue? I think that's where the prescription, yes, but also the plan of your schedule for the week. So making sure that you're not doing a lot of your heavy fitness training at the end of the week. We want to put in the work at the start of the week where we're the furthest away from the game. Typically footballers where you're looking at heart rate variability or their jump testing, they're pretty well recovered 3 days after a game. So if we're getting some good training stimulus in and some light movement day post of a game, they're not just sitting on the couch, but they're going for like a light walk or water-based recovery, whatever it is, some active recovery. Then day 2, maybe you're getting a bit of a light jog in, or you're doing some light skills, some craft work. So you're getting the body going, you're waking it up, some strength training. We know is really good for upregulating your testosterone, which will help with your recovery. The big areas for me is make sure that the athletes are moving throughout the season so they feel good. That's with their strength training, their flush running and skill work. They're getting release work with massage, dedicated stretching, purpose-based stretching to unglue the body, especially from the game. And then you're flushing to improve the body blood supply so you can get rid of the byproducts from the game. How often should you train in season? Like I said, once heavy in season with the legs, once heavy in upper body. That would be a minimum to maintain and develop and hopefully get some PBs if you're lifting with good intent. If you're wanting to put on size in season, you're going to need to lift at least 3 times a week. Tactical periodisation is something that essentially we prioritise the game demands, we prioritise what the coaches need, what the theme of the session is from a training point of view, and we work back from that. So if that means that you've got, let's say, 10K of work that you want to get done and you're in pre-season mode, and they do 8.5K from football, then we would reduce or adapt the conditioning program around the volumes that you prescribe. So if originally you planned to do 3K of aerobic development because you feel like you needed that stimulus to improve their exposure to aerobic work, you would naturally, if you've got a tactical periodization approach, you would be agile with that and you would adapt that to back off the volumes to be able to accommodate for what the football coaches need. So that's typically how tactical periodization works, where you're prioritizing the game over perhaps your periodized energy system development conditioning plan. We'll go first with a pacing strategy. Typically speaking, if you're completing this on a 500-meter track, let's say, you've got 4 laps to complete, I would recommend starting the first lap quite fast. However, try not to be the first in lead that everyone else is pacing off. Okay, try and be maybe second in place and just be in a more efficient manner by not taking on the full air resistance, by being just behind the leader to make things a little bit more easier on your end. But also you don't have the pressure of setting the pace. You can just work off the person who's in the lead and try and catch them towards the end of the race. In the middle 2 laps 2 and 3, I would recommend focusing on your rhythm, focusing on your breath, trying to stay calm. Your reputation when it comes to life outside of football. So do you have other hobbies that you enjoy? Who are your closest 5 friends that you hang around with and you're spending your time? What are they getting up to? What lives do they live? Your school, so what are your teachers? What would they say about you? Not necessarily about your grades, but your work ethic, your diligence to do your work, be on, little things like making sure you're consistently at school on time, asking questions, showing curiosity, all those little things will show to scouts and to coaches that they're drafting a good egg. So that would be something that I would take into account. Number 3, so the things outside of your football. That goes into not just teachers, but parents, family life, your friends, and of course your football coaches. Today I'm going to talk about more of a general progression. I've actually got a high performance questionnaire that's soon going to go out to all my contacts in the A-League, Rugby Union, Rugby League, and of course the AFL, and of course and NBL as well. So all your Australian pro club team-based sports, and get a bit of an idea on what are some trends for being a strength and power coach at a pro club, getting your first full-time role. Was it more PhD embedment, or was it being an assistant S&C? Also work out how long people have been in the industry, how long did it take to progress to a rehab coordinator, how long did it take to progress to a strength and power coach, how long did it take to progress to the high performance manager role. And I know for a lot of you sports science students out there that I've been chatting with recently in our discovery calls, that is a goal for most of you, is the pinnacle, leading your own program at the highest level. So I will discuss that from my point of view. And then once I get that data over the next couple of months, I'll be sure to email it out to our email list so you can access that information and get a bit of an idea on how many years you need to spend to get your first time contract. What do you believe will be the game changers in elite coaching, and how can coaches best prepare these shifts? I answered this one a little bit earlier, so I reckon it's being more objective, not getting consumed and overwhelmed with the data, but making sure you've got a strong filter in what's really important for that athlete. So if you are using view motion or artificial intelligence to assess their running gait, are you going to focus on more the attractors or the fluctuators? So we want to be focusing more on the attractors. So things like their, toe off position, their running stance, are they hitting figure 4 when their foot's getting in contact with the ground? So these sort of things. What things are you going to not mention to the athlete because you feel that's maybe their specific strategy and it's not a problem? And what are going to be other areas that you can use to, like the objective testing with force-dex testing, to be able to analyze and be really clear on what's important for that athlete, rather than just having a shotgun approach
and giving them feedback on a million different things, being able to assess many different things, and then just give the athlete one or two areas that are really important for that athlete. I think that's a key skill in today's coaching, both from what you're seeing with your coaching eye and back that in. So most games missed at AFL level do come from concussions. There seems to be a higher risk if your flexion to extension ratio, so flexion being when we're pressing forwards to the way that you're facing, compared to extension being pressing back behind you, your flexion to extension ratio, we need to be above 0.6 to give ourselves confidence that the neck is strong to be able to handle the forces of a 360-degree nature of the game of football. So working on that in the gym, you can do it both yielding with a cable attached to the player, where if they don't get in a good position, tucking the chin, making sure they're in a nice upright posture, they're not shrugging their shoulders, they're using all their neck muscles, both flexors and extensors. So make sure you work on that flexion, work on extension, and work on lateral flexion both ways. So 4 different directions, and ultimately holding that for 5 seconds per rep. Moving into resilience, we want to be considering groins, calves, and hamstrings as the big 3 ticket ovens of games missed due to those soft tissue injuries. And if we put a good program in place, we can mitigate those. So we want to make sure we've got things like barbell RDLs for proximal hamstring, anywhere between 3 to 4 reps of 5 to 8 repetitions with good load. Make sure the feet are underneath the hips, and that you're lifting around mid-shin, or as long as their hamstrings can allow before their back starts to curve. That's around. Weighted Nordics, 2 to 3 sets of 3 to 5 repetitions to get that peak force, which we can track on the Nord board, but ultimately we want to try and get as much force as we can eccentrically with those. Single leg RDL or single leg back extensions for unilateral hamstring development, typically 3 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions. Seated calf work if they're not doing sled marches, for just that ankle stiffness work and targeting the soleus, which we know is highly active in all forms of running and a pretty prevalent injury for AFL footballers.
Don't go yet. I've got a massive prize for those big listeners, our most loyal listeners of 2024. If you check your Spotify Wrap and the AFL High Performance Podcast, my podcast ranks in your top 10 for your 2024 podcast most listened episodes or shows. Please send that screenshot to me, whether it be through direct social media, direct message, or email. And I've got a special prize for you. You will receive a free yearly membership, annual membership, valued at $399. We've got a membership for footballers, where all the content in the Academy membership, you log in, have your own private login, and I've got content there for the last 5 years that we've been running Prepare Like a Pro that lives in there. So if you want to get maximise and get better for 2025, for the upcoming season, and you're a footballer, take up with this opportunity. Check your Spotify Wrap. I know it was posted about a month ago, and if we're in your top 10, send it to me for proof, and I'll give you instant access for a whole year. We've also got one for strength and conditioning coaches. So if you're looking to maximise this upcoming year and perhaps get your first full-time contract, we've got content around that. We've also got some spreadsheets in there that you can download and apply straight away to your upcoming season around periodisation, strength and power, return to play, and conditioning. So if that interests you, same thing. If we rank in your top 10, send me a screenshot and I will give you instant access, and that's valued at $399, but you get it for free. Thank you for tuning in again, and I look forward to hearing from you in 2025. Thanks, guys.